2 already. He said 2 already. Skinny post spawners. This is the best I've ever started in a tournament. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Dishes and Fishes, where I show you how to cook and set hooks. Today's episode is another fishing vlog. We are currently prepping our boat and tackle for a tournament. We're fishing tomorrow here in early June in Connecticut. Should be fun. This time of year you can definitely expect fish to be post-spawn, fry guarding, and in their very skinny stages. You may see bass fry swimming around the lakes. You'll probably see lots of bluegill beds, which are beds that are smaller and kind of right on top of each other. You'll see empty bass beds probably, especially if the lake is clear, like the one that we're fishing tomorrow. But this is generally the first time that I really focus my efforts on finding structure offshore. Now the fish could be any depth tomorrow, but I am comfortable fishing a little bit deeper offshore. Basically gonna focus all of my energy into two main techniques. The first one is obviously topwater. The first hour or two in the morning of any summer tournament is really important because you can kind of zip anywhere you want and expect to get topwater bites. So you want to make sure the spot you're going to is a high probability area, preferably one that you can spend a lot of time in without zipping around. So one of my favorite areas to do this is obviously grass lines. Any flats with cover generally are a good area to start with topwater in the morning. You can't really go wrong. But that first hour or two of the tournament is going to be the best topwater action that you can get that day probably, and you definitely want to capitalize on it. After that, this time of the year when the fish seem to be deeper, lazier, it's hot, I'm really comfortable finesse fishing. The lakes that we fish here in Connecticut are obviously mixed species of largemouth and smallmouth. So there's 3 different finesse setups, not including a drop shot, that I have a lot of confidence in, and they work for both largemouth and smallmouth. So the tube, Neko Rig, and Hairjig are all awesome year-round finesse lures, especially from the post-spawn on. I have videos that I've done on all 3 of these techniques, so check them out. What you'll need for each rig is in this shot, and I'll put links to all the products in the description below. But these 3 methods are awesome because you can fish them shallow in 2 feet of water all the way to like 30 feet of water, especially on a calm day. A tube and a Neko Rig, you could seriously go out in the summer and fish all day long with just that bait and you'll catch fish. Hairjig is kind of more clear water specific, but cold water, hot water, if it is clear, a hair jig is going to catch you quantity and quality of largemouth and smallmouth. If you want any of these custom hair jigs, I sell them on my website. Check it out, DishesandFishes.com. They're tied by a friend here in Connecticut. I'll have these 3 setups on my deck pretty much the rest of the year. Very versatile and effective finesse baits, especially in clear water. All right guys, rods are rigged up. Alarm is set for 3 a.m. for the lake that is an hour away. See you in the morning. Come on, dude. Good start. Next time, make sure the net is not strapped down. It's 2 already. He said 2 already. Skinny post spawners. There's 3. So skinny, look how skinny. This is the best I've ever started in a tournament. Berkeley Jaywalker is what I'm throwing. Once that sun comes up, I'm gonna start fishing deep. Today I'm actually fishing a tournament on a very clear, rocky, tiny lake. This lake is predominantly largemouth bass. It does have some smallmouth bass that I've just discovered today. But I want to go over my main tactics as far as targeting these fish when they're in post-spawn mode. It is currently June and the water temperature is about 67 degrees. So one of the main areas that I like to target is offshore rock piles. So you can see this buoy here. This is a pretty obvious spot. Another thing you want to make sure you're doing when you fish these really clear lakes, I like to keep my trolling motor kind of powered down. Right now it's on 40. You can see there's no wind out here right now, so you really want to try to be stealthy. And the other thing is kind of stay back off the cover. So you can see the buoy is probably out of the shot right now, but I'm off of the buoy a little bit because I don't want these fish to know I'm here. And I saw a boat on this spot already today, but don't let that stop you from fishing spots because that boat could have been throwing something completely different than what I'm throwing. And I'm really just gonna take my time and dissect this spot because they might not want this tube, but they might want one of the other baits that I've got. And ooh, there's one. We're just gonna go over the retrieves. Little smallie. Now I'm trying to keep his head pinned. This time of year, oh, he's gonna jump again. This time of year, the fish got a lot of fight in them. It is fun, but in a tournament, I want to land this fish. Nice smallie. Whew, okay. The fish fire you up a little bit more in a tournament. I need to gather myself. A little 2.5 pounder. He'll do. He can come aboard. Okay, what was I saying? Oh, retrieves. So that fish kind of hit it as soon as it hit the bottom. But two retrieves I like to do with the tube, and you'll notice I cast it right back in the same spot because those smallies like to hang out together. Come on, T, hit it together here. The first retrieve is to kind of pop it up off the bottom, and the next one is kind of drag it, the old drag and scoot. So I'll drag it and scoot it. Kind of looks like a crayfish zipping across. That topwater slugfest, I mean, beginning of the day, obviously you can hit them on topwater pretty early, but I didn't expect to catch them on topwater like that, but it happened. And again, this tube will work on largies and smallies pretty much all year, but all right, so now that they've seen the tube a little bit on this spot, I'm gonna throw the next finesse bait, and that's a Neko Rig. One thing I've realized is the importance of a sharp hook on the Neko Rig, and also just rigging it up properly. So you can Texas rig it, but when I'm fishing these rock piles like this, I don't even bother. I just hook it with O-rings. I don't get hung up too much when I'm fishing just rock piles. And you have a nice amount of hook exposed too. And all I'm doing with this is kind of stroking it up off the bottom, letting it fall. And you also want to watch it on the way down, because if the line jumps on the way down, which it sometimes does, you want to be ready. The last bait that I just absolutely love is the Hairjig. And I've done a few videos on this already, but a lot of guys put it down after winter, and that's not what you want to do, because any clear water lake year round, it just does an awesome job. When the visibility is low, it doesn't do too good, in the summer at least. I got a little fish in that live well I need to get rid of. So what's going on? It's been pretty dead for a while. Tank, the tank gill. That's pretty much the end of the day, guys. You know, we started out strong. That topwater flurry this morning, I thought we were gonna be nailing them all day long, but it's been pretty slow the rest of the day. I got a couple shorts on a little swim bait, a little lipless crankbait. Let's head to the weigh-in. We got 5 fish. I don't think it's gonna be quite enough. My 5th one is a little bit small, and if I'm catching them, other people usually are too, so let's see. There's my boy!
You may have seen this man from Lake George. Guy slays! How'd you do? 3. Got 3? Nice, man.
You got 4 large?
2 small, 3 large, yep.
All right, I'm voting him out. 9.90.
Oh, thanks. All right, sick. So there you go, guys, as expected. Not quite enough to get the job done, but I think my 9.8 pounds was good enough for 3rd. Guys in Florida be like, 9 pounds? I get that from 1 fish. Yeah, we live in Connecticut. We don't have 9-pounders, so we'll take 2 and 3-pounders. But thanks for watching, guys. Hope you learned something. If you did, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next episode.